Hello. Thank you for joining me. My name is Eric Putkonen, and today I'm going to talk about trusting life, trusting the self. Now, trust is a lot like faith, pretty equivalent. It's not like a blind faith in some belief. Um, Trust is having, faith when there are no assurances. Kind of like if a close friend, someone you know and trust, asks to borrow some money, you might give it to them without a second thought because you trust them. You know you'll get it back or something equivalent, and it'll all work out. However, if someone you didn't know and didn't trust approached you and asked you for money, you might ask for it in writing, or ask for collateral, or some other kind of assurances that they'll pay it back. We seek assurances when we don't trust. How do I really know this will work out? That is the question you ask when you don't trust. And what I'm suggesting is, as a spiritual practice, it might be good to try to trust more, trust life. I mean, after enlightenment and the illusory me is seen through and that illusion is shattered, and the illusion of duality is shattered, trust in the self, which, or in oneself is another way you can almost put it, kind of automatically arises. But that's because a little bit more is known, and so trust is easier at that point, I guess. But if somebody is not yet awake and they still believe in the me, and they believe they're this little person in the great big world full of dangers and scarcity and limited resources and yada yada yada, and the evils that people do onto each other and everything else, it becomes quite easy for people to not trust. But I'm suggesting try to trust more. So it's a trust in with no insurances, but also it's a trust in that which is not known. Because fundamentally, it couldn't be known, otherwise you don't need trust. If you knew the outcome, if you knew the scenario to the degree where there wasn't a shred of doubt, what would there be to trust? It would be known. You trust fundamentally when you don't know. You trust when there are no assurances and you don't know how it's going to turn out. You just trust it will turn out for the best. Now, at the same time, you can't dictate the outcomes or how that trust will manifest. It kind of reminds me of a joke I heard a long time ago. This town was, after a hurricane or storm, there was this, it was flooding, and the flood had already surrounded this neighborhood and the houses, and everybody's getting on the roof. And there was this man of great faith and trust that God would help him, and so he prayed. And after some time, this rowboat comes by, and the person in the boat says, "Hey, jump on in. We've got room. Let's get out of here." And the man said, "No, that's okay. I have faith that God will rescue me. No worries. I trust in God." And so the rowboat goes away. The water continues to rise. Now it's up to his waist. Things are looking pretty dire, but he still has complete faith and he's praying. And this helicopter comes up and spots him. And they lower a ladder and they yell down, "Hey, grab the ladder, climb on up, let's get out of here." And the guy just kind of shoos him off and goes, "Don't worry, I trust in God, I have faith. God will rescue me." And not long after, the water went past his head and he drowned. Now, he went to heaven, and he meets God, and upon meeting God, immediately asks, "Why didn't you rescue me? You broke my faith and trust in you. Here I prayed, I had faith, I did all the right things, and when the time came, you didn't rescue me. You didn't come down and rescue me." And God goes, "What do you mean? I sent you the boat and the helicopter." How things were turning out was being resisted and pushed away because he wanted his faith returned in a specific way, and he wasn't willing to accept it in any other way. And that's not how you trust either. That's not trust and faith. That's setting parameters. Now, I will also say trust doesn't automatically make you stupid. Because I've been in conversations where people go, well, if you trust in God or trust in whatever, and they'll pick dumb situations like, well, why don't you just cross the street without, a busy street without looking either way with your eyes closed, and trust you'll reach the other side. I don't know why people try to turn things into extremes and then absurdity, because you take anything to an extreme, it's absurd. I mean, if you took not trusting to such an extreme, it would be equally absurd. So, I mean, it's kind of funny, but trust does not mean you give up giving up what you could do. It doesn't mean you throw away intelligence and do stupid, unwise things. That's also not trust. Do what you can. Trust that the outcomes will be as they should be, or things will work out fine. And so don't do stupid things like that and just, I'm just going to close my eyes and cross the street. That's not trust. That's, throwing away common sense. So trust does not mean throwing away common sense, nor does it say stop doing. But trust involves faith in the unknown with no assurances. It is more of a open, receptive, and even positive way of interacting with the world. Because as I said, if you don't trust, what do? You keep your armor on and you keep your shield handy. They might attack. Got to keep defended at all times. Well, it's really hard in that scenario to be open, honest, vulnerable, because you simply don't trust. Now, trusting also doesn't make one naive. Many years ago, I had a conversation with my daughter. We sometimes have rather deep conversations from time to time. Not that often, but from time to time. But she was having issues with trusting people in general. And I said, well, if you don't trust people, you are inviting the evil in them, because you're already coming defended and ready for whatever they throw at you. And that immediately signals, I don't trust you. And therefore, if you don't show trust, they also don't give trust. Because if you're all shielded, ready to go, what if you're ready to throw a sneak attack on them? So right off the bat, distrust is inviting the evil in others. So I said, it's my philosophy to trust others, trust people. They're inherently good, most of them. Well, all of them are inherently good, but most of them are good people. Most of them won't betray your trust. And she immediately said, yeah, but some will. What happens when you get hurt? I said, well, I've accepted the fact that I will be hurt. Because in order to trust people so willingly and openly, you have to be willing to be hurt. And know that you will be hurt at some point, because inevitably someone will betray, who is not trustworthy will take advantage of that trust. Well, it's really a small number. It's a minority, and I contend a vast minority. And so let's say it's 90-10 or even 80-20. Although I seriously doubt 20% would take advantage of situations. But would you distrust doing that disservice to the 80% to protect yourself from the 20%? And I suspect it's far lower than that. Most people try to do the right thing. They try to be good. It's a pretty rare thing to see someone really ruthless and willing to, break trust willy-nilly. And those are often well-known people as being untrustworthy, and so most people don't trust them to begin with. But my point is don't be naive. It's like you may have in the back of your mind, again, this distrusting thought of, well, if I trust life, what if I'm hurt? You're going to be hurt anyway. But and you might get hurt slightly more in distrusting, but you lose all that could have been from trusting. And I guess people find it easier to be walled up in armor with shields. They're more comfortable in that scenario. Even I don't think anybody could deny, even with all your shields, even with your distrust, you still get hurt. There's still pain. There's still scenarios where you let your guard down for a moment and somebody took advantage of it. But it's exhausting to keep the shields up all the time. It's much more free. It's much more liberating to just trust life. To know that all is well, all will be well. I mean, do what you can. And have no, illusions or delusions that you're not going to face struggles. But don't let it stop you from being open, vulnerable, and receptive and trusting. So I guess that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. If you have any questions, please post below. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. Share my video if you think there's somebody else that would like the video. If you want to see future videos, please subscribe. But thank you much.